Hello, everybody. It is Monday, September 8th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. We have a lot to talk about and not a lot of time to do so let's get right into it. Yesterday was the first 49ers game of the season. They went into Seattle and they won a great game. It was a gritty game. It was a tough game, but the 49ers came out on top. The final score was 17-13 49ers, and it was a roller coaster. Just trying to talk about the game, it's like kind of get overstimulated a little bit because this game was wild. There were missed field goals, turnovers, and Brock Purdy leads the team down the field late on a game-winning drive and throws a touchdown to Jake Tonjes, who I had never heard of before the game, and I am a diehard. So it kind of just goes to show how crazy that game was. The 49ers offense, two turnovers from Brock Purdy in his first game with a big contract. Um, it's not what you want to see, but he made up for it at the end with the stellar last drive. The defense was fantastic. They had forced two turnovers, forced two fumbles. Bosa had the one sack at the end, and they only allowed the Seahawks to score one touchdown and then two field goals. So fantastic performance from the defense with Salah. And let's talk a little bit more about that. All the rookies that were on the defense, they played well. Upton Stout, he got targeted a lot. Renardo Green as well. He's not a rookie, but he's a younger guy. And it was just everyone was flying around, especially D. Winters, who had a great game in his first game replacing Dre Greenlaw as one of the starting linebackers. And then, of course, Fred Warner, he's going to do what he does. He was electric. He was flying around the field. He was super energetic, and I thought that was great. He's really stepping into that leadership role. More so than he was in the past couple of years. And with Salah back calling the plays, defense was just fiery, and they did not allow very many yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba for the Seahawks, he had a great game. But other than that, it really felt like the Seahawks weren't running the ball well. And at the end, the Niners came out with the win. And then that was one key of the game that I mentioned yesterday. And then another key part of the game was the running game for the 49ers, especially Christian McCaffrey in the season opener. He had a phenomenal game. Just pulling up the stats here. 22 carries for 69 rushing yards, and then 9 catches for 73 receiving yards. So in total, he had 31 touches for 142 yards. No touchdowns, but he still put up 23 fantasy points, which goes to show just how much of an impact he had. And when Kittle went out of the game and Jennings later went out of the game, the guy that Shanahan was turning to get down the field and get big plays was Christian McCaffrey, and he delivered big time. There's a little bit of worry with that amount of workload. 31 touches is a crazy amount for a guy coming back from a big injury last year and a couple of big injuries, who was questionable earlier in the week on Thursday with the calf scare. But he played phenomenally. As long as we can, there's an expression in Formula One for managing the tires, which is just not going as hard as you can every lap, but kind of relaxing it and not giving it your all so that, well, not in that sense, but kind of reserving some energy, saving some energy so that in the end and over the duration of the race, your tires will have less wear and they'll be more healthy in a sense. And that's what I hope they do with McCaffrey. The thing about this game, though, was Kittle went down, which is a big loss, and then the game was close. They needed McCaffrey to step up, and that's why he had so many touches. But another promising sign was Brian Robinson in his first game as a 49er. He had 9 carries for 37 yards. He also added 9 carries for 33 yards and then 1 4-yard catch. So as long as we can increase his workload while also limiting McCaffrey to stay healthy and conserve some energy for the rest of the season, I was very satisfied with how the running game was. Also, the line, they played pretty well. I think Purdy got sacked once. That was a big problem last year, is we couldn't run the ball. Purdy was running for his life when he was trying to drop back to pass. But the line held up, so good job to them. Even though Pooney went down and so did Williams, but Williams came back in. So I've kind of been sprinkling it in here and there. There were so many injuries for the 49ers this game. Kittle had a great first drive, but he got hurt. Jennings had a shoulder thing. It was like a freak accident, he was saying. Warner had to come out of the game for a little bit. He was spitting blood, which was crazy. I mean, he's just a dog. I mean, he's so tough. Bosa was saying after the game that when Warner goes out, he just expects him to come back in. So great on Fred Warner. Who else? Pooney went out. He's a big piece. And I hope that's it. I hope that there weren't any other injuries. I can't really remember. It was a wild game. Um, Very emotionally invested, so it was great to be coming out on top for a big first win of the season. A big energy boost, big morale boost for the team. So yeah, very happy. And then speaking of those injuries, when Kittle went down, the guy who really stepped up, and on the last drive of the game, the guy who stepped up was Jake Tonjes, who's the backup tight end. I don't know if he's what string he is, second or third, but he had his first career catch on the last drive of the game in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes, and he caught the touchdown from Purdy to win the game. So his first catch, his first yards, first everything, first touchdown catch. So congratulations to him. And yeah, Jake Tonjes really stepping up. And that's what we kind of need, It's when players go down, we need other players to step up. It's a physical game, it's the NFL. And when players go down, you need other players to step up. And even though he's not as good as Kittle, because Kittle is otherworldly, but the fact that he was able to contribute and he was a big part in helping us win the game was amazing. So shout out Jake Tonjes. And then, so there was another negative aspect to the game, and that was in the special teams. Jake Moody, he missed another kick. I think of myself as pretty positive. Like I tend to try and be open towards everybody and try and like everybody and make friends with everybody. But I'm getting sick and tired of Jake Moody. I'm not even gonna lie. Because before it's like he's missing these kicks from like 50, and it's like, well, I couldn't make that. It's a tough kick. But then you think they spent a third round draft pick on this guy. He's supposed to be incredible. And you look at other kickers throughout the league, like Boswell hitting a 60-yarder in New York, or for the Steelers in New York, and Prater off the couch for the Bills hit a game winner. And from 27 yards, like that's shorter than an extra point. So there's really no reason you should be missing that. He didn't miss any more kicks, although one got blocked, which is a whole nother thing. We cannot lose games in special teams. We've got to be solid in that aspect. So Shanahan said after the game that there was no question that Moody was going to remain the kicker, but he also said that that's just how he was feeling right then and there, and they had to go back and analyze it. So, I mean, I'm all for giving second chances and everything, but how many chances are we going to give this guy? So hopefully he can figure that out, because I know he has potential to be a fantastic kicker. He hit a 59-yard game winner in the preseason. I was hoping that would carry over, but, maybe it's just nerves, whatever. But he's for sure running out of chances. It might be his last chance if he misses another easy one. But other than that, it was a tough win. It was a gritty win. It was an ugly win, some might say, but, a win is a win. At the end of the day, when you look at the box score, it says 1-0 for the 49ers. And that's all that matters, is getting that dub. So everyone played well, especially the defense. And hoping we can build on this and go into New Orleans next week and get that dub again. And then some other scores from around the league. There were some big games. And on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo, the Bills completed a crazy comeback. They were down 40-25 in the fourth quarter. And Josh Allen and the Bills, they came back. The fans were leaving the stadium. And Derrick Henry had a monster game. He had 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Ravens were dominating, but the Bills, they never went away. They came back. They forced a fumble on Henry. And the Bills had a game-winning field goal at the end. It was a fantastic game. It might have been the game of the year. Obviously, there's 17 more weeks to go, but that is definitely one of the greatest games that I've ever seen. And it was so much fun to watch. So if we get more of that, from more fireworks like that in prime time, it's going to be a fantastic year. And then some more games that were very entertaining were the Buccaneers and the Falcons. That game was back and forth late. Koo missed a field goal to try and tie the game late in the fourth. And the other game that really stuck out was in New Jersey, where the Jets were facing the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns against his former team. Both teams played well. Justin Fields played well for the Jets, and that one went down to the wire. Like I said, Chris Boswell had a 60-yard field goal to take the lead, and Jalen Ramsey, the new Steeler, he punched the ball out from Garrett Wilson on the last play of the game to force an incompletion and end the game, essentially. So that was another fantastic game. So lots of dramatics, not just for the Niners, all around the league. There was a lot of drama. And then looking ahead to tonight, it's going to be the Vikings and the Bears on Monday Night Football. I think Vikings are going to win this game. And so, yeah, that was football for yesterday and looking ahead today. Another thing that happened yesterday were the San Francisco Giants going into St. Louis. They're still in St. Louis. The rubber match of the series, they ended up losing that game. They were getting no hit through 5, and then the Bats kind of woke up a little bit, but they didn't have enough. They didn't score enough, and the Giants lost 4-3. Kai Wei Tang pitched well through the first 4 innings, and then he walked the bases loaded, which is not good. We can't be having that. And it looked like he just ran out of gas, which is unfortunate. So it was a chance. These last 2 games over the weekend, we should have won on Saturday. I'm still mad about that game. But the Mets lost both of their games over the weekend to the Reds as well. It was a chance for us to gain at least 2 games, if not just 1. And we might be looking back on this weekend series at the end of the year and saying, if only we could have had those 2 games, it would have made a big difference. So I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's a tough loss. It stings a little bit. But looking ahead to tonight, the Giants are back home, and we have the right guy on the mound to try and snap us out of this little 2-game losing streak, try and get back in the win column and chase down those Mets, because the Mets are going against the Phillies, I believe. Yeah, they are going against the Phillies, so that's a huge game, and we have a chance to gain a couple of games here in this series as well. It's going to be Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants facing, I don't know, Nabil Crismatt. He's the Diamondbacks pitcher. But yeah, Webby's on the bump today, hoping to get a good performance out of him, eat some innings, strike some batters out, and just be the ace of the staff that we know he can be. He's proven it in the past. And if we're going to make the playoffs, we need him to be stellar. And like he's been really since 2021. So relying on Webby tonight, and hopefully we can have just an all-around great game for the Giants where Webby does well and the offense does well. And we're going to get back in the win column tonight for the Giants. So that's going to do it for today. There's still lots to talk about, but I'm running a little bit short on time here. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. It was a great day of sports yesterday. I'm hoping we're going to have another great day of sports today, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll see you then.